Hey guys, so today we're going to talk about fats, more specifically lipids. Fats have been vilified throughout the decades, causing us to run scared to margarine, low-fat foods, which have only been making us more unhealthy and even fatter. Let's dive in and demystify this macronutrient. So what are lipids? Lipids are a family of compounds that includes fats and oils. Fats are solid at room temperature and oils are liquid at room temperature. Fats have 9 calories per gram, so if anything that's high in fat will always be high in calories. That doesn't mean it's bad for you. You just need to watch your calories, but fats are necessary. So let's dive into the functions of fats. 1, they're the main component of cell membranes. 2, they're the main form of stored energy. 3, they provide thermal insulation. 4, they're converted into other essential compounds such as hormones. 5, they provide essential fatty acids such as omega-3 and omega-6. 6, they stimulate appetite. Contrary to popular belief, fat does not cause you to want to stop eating. And 7, they're a huge part of neurological development. Your brain is about 60% fat. So there are 3 types of lipids. We have triglycerides, phospholipids, and sterols. Triglycerides, as you can see here, are composed of a glycerol head and 3 fatty acid chains. Fatty acids can be saturated, monounsaturated, or polyunsaturated. Saturated fats are not bad for you. You need them. Some notable fatty acids would be omega-3, omega-6, and trans fat. Omega-3 and omega-6 are essential. Trans fats should be avoided at all costs. Trans fats are created when we try to hydrogenate an oil, such as canola, to turn it into something solid, like margarine. Examples of foods high in trans fat would be margarine, shortening, deep fried foods, cookies, crackers, that kind of stuff. Phospholipids are composed of a glycerol head, 2 fatty acid chains, and a phosphate-based water-soluble head. Essentially what they can do is they can mix waters and fats together. If you've ever tried to pour oil in water, you know that they don't mix. Phospholipids are able to mix them. Phospholipids compose the foundation of the cell membrane. They're what all the proteins and all the gates and all that stuff go into. And they're emulsifiers. Like I said, they help mix water and oil. Sterols, otherwise known as cholesterol in animals and phytosterols in plants, are an important constituent of cell membranes. They're precursors to the synthesis of sex hormones such as estrogen and testosterone, as well as the stress hormone cortisol. They're also precursors to vitamin D. As you can see here, cholesterol and vitamin D look very similar. They're also used to create bile. Omega-3 and omega-6. These are the 2 essential fatty acids. A good ratio of omega-3 to omega-6 would be 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4 is ideal. Most people get about 1 to 25, meaning 1 omega-3 to 25 omega-6s. That's no good. A good way to get more omega-3 in your diet would be to have about 2 to 3 servings of fatty fish a week. The functions of these essential fatty acids: production of hormone-like substances called prostaglandins and leukotrienes. These regulate blood pressure, immunity, and water balance. They're also essential for cell membrane structure and skin health, as well as nerve signal transmission and neurological development. Now let's dive into exercise and lipid metabolism. So the effects of physical activity on lipid metabolism. At low intensities, you'll go from using your free fatty acids from 25 to 50% of your VO2 max to your intramuscular triglycerides from 50 to 75 of your VO2 max. After that, you're in anaerobic glycolysis, meaning you're burning sugar with no oxygen, causing a buildup of lactic acid. Now, this essentially is called the fat burning range. So that 25 to 75% zone, that's called the fat burning range. And a lot of people talk about it saying, oh, you should just run at low intensity for a long time and you'll burn more fat. And this is true. Compared to your carbs, you will burn more fat than carbohydrates. However, if your goal is to lose weight, your body fat is not indicative of how much fat you consume and how much fat you burn. Your body fat is indicative of overall calories. As I've mentioned before, body fat is created from protein, carbs, and from fat. It's created from an excess of energy. If you have an excess of energy in your body, it will be stored as fat. That's how our body works. So to burn more fat, all you need to do is burn more energy. You don't need to be in a fat burning zone. So it's actually better to do stuff at higher intensity. Even though the ratio of fats to carbs burned will be more on the carbs end and less on the fats end, it doesn't matter. You need to burn more energy, not more fats. Now let's dive into high fat diets. So the objective of high fat diets are to increase lipid oxidation and spare glycogen reserves. reserve, so sparing the glycogen in your muscle. High-fat diets work. They take about a week to get used to, and it's good to have about a carb load about every 5 to 7 days. You want to have a high carb day to replenish your glycogen stores. However, as you can see in the following table, performance is going to be slightly reduced when you're compared to a high carbohydrate diet. High-fat diets will work, and you will burn a bit more fat, but to be perfectly honest, they're not necessary for losing weight, but they do work. And there's lots of issues with these high-fat diet studies, especially concerning trained versus untrained subjects, intensity of the exercises, and adaptation. Exercise science is a really complicated field to do good studies with because there's so many things that you need to control for. So to be honest, I think that while these studies are interesting to look at, there's a lot more work that needs to be done. So thanks for watching. That was my video on fats. If you have any questions, ask below. And thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share the video. Have a great day.